Welcome to Keen on Keys. Yamaha has reactivated their PSS series and released 3 brand new models: the PSS-A50, F30 and A50. I was a bit excited when I heard of it, and I decided to buy one. Yamaha started the series of mini keyboards in 1980 with the PS1, 2 and 3. Although they called them just PS at that time, these models can be seen as the first. They continued until 1997, or to be exactly until 2000. But the PSS-15 released that year is just a reissue of the PSS-14. Now, after almost 20 years, the PSS keyboards are back. They all have the same dimensions and weight, a headphone and USB jack, 32 voice polyphony and 37 keys. But they all have different features. The E30 is aimed at small kids. It's also called Remy, and you can consider this as a real toy keyboard. 46 voices and 1 drum kit, 28 accompaniment styles, 30 songs, and something like a quiz mode. The main attraction are the FX sounds. The F30 seems to be aimed at a bit older kids, and it has the standard home keyboard functions. 117 voices, 3 drum kits, 114 accompaniment styles, and 30 built-in songs. But I'm very happy that they also released the A50. It seems to have some more professional or unique features, at least when it comes to small home keyboards. It fills the gap between the very cheap toy keyboards and the more professional ones, just like some of the PSS keyboards of the late 80s and early 90s. It has 40 voices and 2 drum kits, sustain, portamento, an octave switch, touch response and a phrase recorder. But the features that caught my interest are the motion effects, the Arpeggiator and the Midi Functions. You can connect it to your computer and use it as a master keyboard. So let's open the box and see what we will find inside. Real lightweight, and the control panel is highly reflective. Nice keys. They should be the same as with the Yamaha Reface series. I know, the manual says do not open, but I guess a very quick look inside will be okay. Here's the date stamp. This piece was manufactured just 3 months ago. But I got no idea what these other stamps mean. Look at this tiny board. This has to be the main chip. The same one was used in a few PSR models, like the F50. The boards have connectors, but I won't take it further apart. There's no need to clean anything, but good to know that it won't be difficult if it's ever necessary. I will use batteries, but you can also use the USB jack. Hold down the on-off button for a second to turn it on. It looks as if it has only 10 sounds, but you can select various instruments with each button. They are listed in the manual. The default sound is piano. I will show you some of my favorite sounds, but instead of playing them myself, I will let the Arpeggiator do the job. 138 arpeggios are available. They are divided in 12 groups. Change the pattern with the plus and minus buttons. There are very little classic arpeggios. Most of them are more like rhythmic phrases, and 22 of them are drum patterns. If you want to play along, press the hold button. You can change the octave and turn on sustain without changing the arpeggio. It was a bit irritating to me that I can't change the sound of the arpeggio while it's running. But I'm okay with that, because I can play along with another sound instead. That's nice. Press the hold button and keep it down to change the chord. The sound, octave and sustain selections are just temporary as long as you stop the arpeggio with the hold button. Now we have only the arpeggio again. But if you turn off the arpeggio completely while it's running, the change gets permanent. Now the second sound is selected, E-piano. And if you start the arpeggio again, you will discover that the pattern has changed. It's because every sound has a default arpeggio pattern. That's okay if you want to get a quick overview, but it's awkward if you want to try out a certain pattern with a different sound. You have to keep in mind which pattern it is, change the sound, and select the arpeggio again. And this for every sound you want to try. To change the tempo, push Tab. The display shows Tab for 2 seconds before it shows the current tempo. Use the plus and minus buttons to change it. You can also tap in the tempo. Tap 4 times. Press plus and minus at the same time to get back to 120 BPM. For some reason, you only have to tap 2 times if you want to change the tempo while the metronome or the phrase recorder is running. There's a shift button for some functions, motion effects type, portamento on-off, and all the functions that are changed via the keys. Midi functions, transpose, tuning, metronome with plus and minus to change the time signature, phrase volume, touch response, I will turn it off for now, battery type to select rechargeable or normal batteries, and auto power off. This is drawbar organ with pattern 24. Rock organ. Nylon guitar with pattern 45. There are 4 bass sounds with special bass patterns. These will only play one note at a time. But of course you can also use the bass sounds with other patterns. Pizzicato strings. And harp. Flute. Sustain can make a big difference. Saxophone. The sounds are optimized to be played without the octave switch, but transposing down could lead to some nice effects. Synth brass. Punchy chords. New Age pad. Some patterns include motion effects. This is called brightness. Vibraphone. And finally, the 2 drum kits. This is the standard drum kit. Most of the percussion sounds are used in both kits. dance kit, and some patterns. Let's have a look at the effects. Sustain and portamento are straightforward. Use Shift to turn on portamento. Use it in combination with an arpeggio for some funny effects. The motion effects button is a temporary switch. A wheel would have been perfect, but this is also okay. Use Shift to change the type. There are 34 effects, divided into 10 filter, 12 pitch and 12 modulation effects. Some are quite complex. The phrase recorder is very simple. You can record a single phrase with up to 700 notes. Push record. The recording starts when you press a key. Turn on the metronome if you like, and start playing. Push record again to finish the recording. You can loop the phrase if you hold down Shift and press play. It's a bit tricky to get a nice loop. You have to stop the recording at the right time. If you're a bit too late, there will be a break in between the loop. You can also record an arpeggio or drum pattern, along with a bass line, for example. Start the drums first, press hold, press record, choose a bass sound, and start playing. The previous recording will be erased. It's a pity that the tempo is also recorded. Let me show you what I mean. Place something else on top. This guitar pattern is nice. Make it a bit slower, 110 BPM. If you now press play, the overall tempo will be set to the one the phrase was recorded in. 120 BPM again. But there is a way to change it. Tap in the desired tempo and the recorded phrase starts automatically. Use this to get it in sync with the arpeggio. Now it's working. But it would be so much easier if the phrase tempo would follow the manual tempo settings, just like the arpeggio does. And I can't use the Shift button for the repetition of the phrase. This works only with the play button. And you can't use the tap buttons in combination with the arpeggio if you want to play something else. You have to delete the phrase first. To delete the phrase, push record, play and stop. Here's some other examples. Record a static arpeggio and a bass line. A beat on top and a synth pad. record a beat and a bass line. Play an arpeggio on top and a synth lead. Or record an arpeggio and play the drums yourself. And put another arpeggio on top. Or record a melody and try out an accompaniment later. For more complex arrangements, use the Midi functions. The A50 will transmit on 4 MIDI channels. You can select the main transmit channel by pressing Shift and MIDI out channel. All other data will be transmitted on the next higher MIDI channels. For example, if the MIDI out channel is set to 1, the arpeggio will be transmitted on channel 2, the phrase recording on channel 3, and if you have recorded an arpeggio, it will be transmitted on channel 4. Program change, modulation effects, sustain and portamento are also transmitted. It can receive all 16 MIDI channels, and you can let it play 16 different instruments at the same time. It also receives some control commands like volume, pitch bend, modulation, filter cutoff, resonance, sustain, portamento, reverb, chorus, attack, release, and program change informations. So you will get a lot more possibilities if you use MIDI. I like the overall concept of this keyboard. And I'm quite happy with all of the features and functions. Some are very intuitive and easy to understand, while others are a bit more complex or not working as expected. It would have been nice if the sounds or maybe the effects were written on the control panel. There's a lot of space on the left side for that. I like the motion effects, and the Arpeggiator is great, but I wouldn't have implemented the default arpeggio settings for each sound. The sampled voices are quite realistic, and they sound really well in combination with the arpeggios. But most of them are lacking a bit of character, and I don't agree with the selection. I don't need 5 guitar sounds, and I wished one of them was a muted guitar, or a banjo, or something like a shamisen or sitar. And I'm really missing a clavinet or harpsichord, a choir, celesta, maybe 2 or 3 FX sounds, and definitely some more synth sounds. But I will keep it, because another reason why I bought it is the MIDI functionality. I can take it on the road and connect it to my laptop. It's small and light and fits in my bag. And I guess each one of these 3 has also one in his bag. So let's do one final recording. Thanks for watching.